A promise made in the front seat of a Chevy Silverado Z71 4x4 is unbreakable. It was about 16 years ago, and my wife and I were on our annual trip down to South Central Missouri to see her parents down by the Arkansas border. And we had done the holiday shopping for the day and decided we were going to go to dinner, and we separated into two different vehicles. My wife and her mother and our twin babies in one vehicle, and I was in the Silverado with my father-in-law. Now, he was a giant man, 6'4", 300 and something pounds, and he filled the cab of that Silverado. And we were driving down the rural highway in Missouri, and I don't know if you've ever been on one of those, but let's just say it's not like the Mass Pike or I-95. It's like Missouri Route RR or something like this. And it was just after dark, and it had been raining, and there's a kind of slick black darkness that can only be achieved in such conditions. And unexpectedly, he pulled over on the side of the road, and he put it in park, and he says to me, "Lean forward." Now, my father-in-law, he used to like to put me into verbal traps and test me to see if I would stand up for myself. So I did what anyone would do. I looked at him and I said, "What?" And he said, "Lean forward." And he took his giant hand and he put it on the back of the seat behind me, and he leaned it forward, and he stuck that claw behind the seat, and up it came around a fifth of Jack Daniels and a Louisiana cigarette about the size of my pinky. And we sat on the side of the road there and cracked that bottle of Tennessee's Best. And it was then that he confessed to me that he was no longer in remission for his metastatic melanoma, subdermal. And for those of you whose families have had this happen to you, you know that the second diagnosis is worse than the first. And we talked about that for a little while, and I said, so what can I do for you? And he said, "I need you to take care of the girls." And I knew that he meant his wife, my mother-in-law, and his daughter, my wife. And I stuck my hand across the cab, and I shook his giant hand and promised that I would do so. Well, at that time, on my field of vision, a very old-fashioned lock appeared, like a Middle-earthen type of lock, and the spring mechanism closed, and some sort of like gold leaf lettering appeared in my field of vision, and it said, "Promise made." Well, about a year later, we took that trip down again, my wife and I, and this time 3 babies. And we went back to the South Central Missouri. And sadly, it was just my mother-in-law that we met down there for the holidays. And we packed her up and took care of the farm, and we were bringing her back to New England so that we could care for her. And we got the biggest tow-behind trailer that you could get to attach to our van from U-Haul, and she had the Z71 and a 20-foot bass boat, and so there were 3 adults and 3 children and these 2 trailers, and of course 5 dogs. So we Beverly Hillbillied our way back to New England, where she joined our family. And for the next 12 years, we had a spare babysitter and someone to really illustrate to our children that sometimes family was multi-generational. And through some good luck and good fortune, about 2 years ago, she was able to purchase her own place down in North Carolina. And for the first time in her whole life, all 50 years of her adult life, she was going to live independently. And I was telling this story at her going away party, and it was at this point that in my field of vision that old-fashioned lock appeared again. But this time the spring, it sprung open, and there was like a little rain of like gold coins and gold dust, and the lettering appeared, promise kept,